It is no secret that we're fans of animatronics. We've talked about many animatronics before. From scariest animatronics to animatronics in queues, we've tried to cover all. Today, we'll be talking about animatronics that can be found outside rides, attractions, and even queues. The Barker Birds. Location, Adventureland at Disneyland.
Buenos dias, senor and senoritas. How do you do down there? Aloha. It is showtime now in Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. Hurry, hurry to Tiki Room. Tikis make drum go boom. Magic is happening. All the birds and flowers sing. Better come see this thing. Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. Come to the Tiki Room. Hurry to the Tiki Room.
When fans discuss Walt Disney's classic favorites, the Enchanted Tiki Room is essential. Opening in 1963, the attraction and the accompanying Tahitian Terrace Dinner Theater debuted at the height of the Tiki craze, aligning with Hawaii's entrance to the US, and Americans' fascination with all things Polynesian. Of course, the Enchanted Tiki Room served as the debut of Disney's patented audio animatronic figures. So groundbreaking was the very concept that Walt and his designers figured that guests wouldn't understand exactly what awaited inside. Enter Juan, a cousin to the show's MC Jose, we're told, a macabre positioned atop the ride's marquee with the simple job of acting as a carnival barker. Excitedly spieling to attract guests into the show, Juan would chirp, whistle, and of course speak, giving guests a glimpse of the wonders that would await inside. But the seemingly intelligent talking bird was so novel, he became an attraction in his own right, and guests were known to gather around and gawk at the figure with such intensity, they often cut off the pathway leading into Adventureland. Eventually, that necessitated Juan's removal entirely. Nearly 60 years later, another audio animatronic bird found its way to Adventureland. In 2018, Disney smartly repurposed the long underutilized remains of the Tahitian Terrace Dinner Theater into the retro-nostalgic tropical hideaway. Nestled into the Tiki Room's thatch-roofed courtyard and overlooking the rivers of the Jungle Cruise, this amazing courtyard is filled with details that expand the Tiki Room's mythos, connect to Adventureland's larger narrative, and simultaneously pull in nods to Disney's mysterious cross-continental secret society, SEA, the Society of Explorers and Adventurers. If you want to know more about this secret society, click here. In this awesome spot, we can find an audio animatronic Rosita, a white cockatoo whose absence from the show's Birdmobile has been noted since 1963. She's at the river's edge telling jokes and puns to entertain guests while they dine on Dole Whips, bao buns, and sweet pineapple lumpia spring rolls. Even sweeter, the crate that supports her perch also holds a barker's hat and cane. Callbacks to Juan himself and Rosita's newfound career as a barker. Iguanodon. Location, Discovery River at Disney's Animal Kingdom. When Disney's Animal Kingdom opened in 1998, the park offered only two noteworthy attractions, the headlining Kilimanjaro Safaris and the terrifying Countdown to Extinction. In the latter, guests would board EMV time rovers to leap back to the last moments of the Cretaceous, tasked with saving an iguanodon from the brink of extinction and returning it to the Dino Institute for study. Of course, the park also contained the Discovery riverboats. To Disney's thinking, this simple boat-based ride would simply shuttle guests from the park's entry oasis to Asia, easing walking requirements for the large park. Along the way, the boats would sail past simple vignettes meant as teasers for what each of the park's lands would offer, like a goat exhibit and geysers in Africa, and a fire-breathing dragon near Camp Mickey Minnie, meant to hint at the beastly kingdom. Along the shores of Dinoland, guests would find a playful iguanodon, splashing along the shores of the Discovery River, as if the dinosaur folks had rescued aboard Countdown to Extinction had escaped. The connection was cute and helped expand the world of the ride to a deeper continuity, connecting the rest of Dinoland to its story. But unfortunately, the Discovery riverboats garnered multi-hour waits from guests expecting a Jungle Cruise-style experience, especially with only two other rides in the park, inevitably leading to disappointment. By the park's first autumn, the ride was renamed Discovery River Taxi to emphasize its functional role, but it wasn't enough. In March 1999, before its first birthday, the ride lost its riverside scenes and became the Radio Disney River Cruise before closing forever that November. Sunny Eclipse. Location, Tomorrowland at Magic Kingdom. Believe it or not, there was a time before Tomorrowland was overtaken with Pixar properties. After any semblance of actual scientific futurism, but before Toy Story, Monsters Inc., and Lilo and Stitch moved in, Tomorrowland briefly existed as one of Disney's first ever attempts at land-wide continuity. In fact, when Magic Kingdom's New Tomorrowland debuted in 1994, the idea was that each of its rides, shows, and even restaurants would take place in the same universe, each connected by an overarching narrative and Art Deco architectural style. Tomorrowland was meant to be a real, immersive sci-fi city, an intergalactic spaceport of landed spacecrafts, neon signs in alien languages, and a spirit and style influenced by 20th century pulp sci-fi comics and characters like Buck Rogers. The city's transit authority, the People Mover, would whisk guests past the Tomorrowland Science Center, home to the Timekeeper on exhibit, the Interplanetary Convention Center, hosting the alien engineering firm XS Tech, unwittingly making guests guinea pigs on the alien encounter, and the city's spaceport, Space Mountain. Most every element of the land was meant to feel like part of the same frame story. That includes Cosmic Ray's Starlight Cafe, a retro-futuristic jazz club owned and operated by aliens. As guests dine at this intergalactic restaurant, they're serenaded by the smooth stylings of Lounge Lizard's Sunny Eclipse, the biggest little star in the galaxy, from the planet Zork as he sings original songs on the Astro organ. By the way, jet off to Tokyo Disneyland for the even wilder animatronic entertainment of Tony Solaroni on the second level of the park's pan-galactic pizza port for a full-on show during your meal. Seagulls. Location, Tomorrowland at Disneyland. When Disneyland's venerated submarine voyage closed in 1998, all hope seemed lost. After all, Magic Kingdom's version of the ride, the fan-favorite 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, had closed just a few years earlier without so much as a warning, and it stood to reason that Disneyland's 1959 ride would be sufficiently sunk as well. Fans held to the hope that Disney's 2001 film Atlantis: A Lost Empire might inspire Disney to re-theme the Walt classic. But when that film bombed, all hope seemed lost. But 2003's Finding Nemo and a significant change of management at Disneyland buoyed the concept of reviving the subs to celebrate Disneyland's 50th anniversary. While it doesn't have much in common with its predecessor, fans were relieved to see the revival of a ride system Walt himself had cared so much for. As you walk along the bubbling lagoon between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland, the iconic and beloved seagulls from the film will make it perfectly clear that the cartoon clownfish has overtaken the Tomorrowland classic. Roosting on a floating buoy, the seagulls chatter, chirp, and provide phenomenal photo opportunities. To some, an unfortunate invasion of the continuing cartoonification of Tomorrowland. Similar seagulls can be found outside of the seas with Nemo and friends at Epcot. Luxo Jr. Location, Pixar Pier at Disney's California Adventure.
Get ready for Pixar Pier. Prepare to be awed. Prepare to be moved. Prepare to make a mad dash. Because with the Incredicoaster, Pixar Pal Round, and a bunch of your favorite Pixar characters, it's going to be pretty incredible. Pixar Pier, opening June 23rd, only at Disney California Adventure Park.
When California Adventure opened, Paradise Pier originally resembled a modern seaside amusement park, similar to that of the Santa Monica Pier. But then, the California Adventure $1.1 billion expansion project started, and Paradise Pier was rethemed to evoke the charm of Victorian-era seaside amusement parks of the 1920s. This made the area so much better than it was before, but it didn't end there. On June 23, 2018, part of Paradise Pier reopened as Pixar Pier, inspired by films from Pixar Animation Studios. Pixar Pier opened during the limited-time Pixar Fest celebration, which began on April 13, 2018. California Screamin' became the Incredicoaster, King Triton's Carousel of the Sea became Jesse's Critter Carousel, Inside Out Emotional Whirlwind opened where the Maliboomer used to be, the Boardwalk games are now the games of Pixar Pier, where we find games inspired by Bullseye, WALL-E, La Luna, and Heimlich, and Mickey's Fun Wheel became the Pixar Pal Around. At the entrance of this area of the park, on the dreamy, elegant storybook Victorian entry of flickering Edison bulbs, historic domes, jewel-toned turrets, and an ornate, flashing, hand-carved turn-of-the-century archway entrance, we can find Luxo Jr., Pixar's iconic lamp, part of Pixar's title card on the big screen, but originally made famous in their Luxo Jr. short film, greeting and welcoming guests into Pixar Pier. Figaro. Location, Fantasyland Fair at Disneyland. The simple carnival tent at Plaza Gardens had been a fairly nondescript part of Disneyland for decades, so when it was announced that the Hideaway spot, known for its weekend swing dancing, would be absorbed into Fantasyland at the expense of the simple circus tent and patio tables, fans practically protested. As with most things that earn the ire of die-hard fans, the charming Fantasy Fair ended up being a fan favorite, a gentle, functional, and superbly detailed corner of the park. Among its offerings is a royal reception hall, a meet and greet for princesses, perhaps saving one of the park's classic dark rides from the same fate as Magic Kingdom's Snow White's Scary Adventures, and the Royal Theater, presenting clever vaudevillian retellings of Beauty and the Beast and Tangled, accompanied by a live pianist, and thankfully, swing dancing again. The semi-medieval courtyard is also packed with Easter eggs and easy-to-miss details, including an animatronic of Figaro, the cat from Pinocchio, sleeping on a windowsill overhead. Every few minutes, the caged bird on the windows chirps, waking Figaro. The lazy cat meows and paws at the bird, then snuggles back to sleep. An easy-to-miss and adorable detail. The Dragon. Location, Fantasyland at Disneyland Paris. Though the 1992 opening of Disneyland Paris is often cited as the pivot point that led to closed, cancelled, and cop-out attractions for decades after, there's also no denying that Disneyland Paris may be the most beautiful, detailed, and storied of Disney's castle parks. Fans often cite its castle as key evidence, but most spectacular is what lurks beneath the castle. A standalone walkthrough attraction at the Parisian park, the Dragon's Dungeon allows guests to enter the dimly lit, ethereal caverns beneath the castle for an encounter with an 89-foot-long sleeping dragon. Every once in a while, the chained dragon awakes, spies onlooking guests, and defiantly grips its claws, lifts its head, growls, and breathes smokes before remembering that it's chained. Frustrated, the dragon growls, narrows its eyes, and goes back to sleep. The Face-to-Maw experience is somewhat transcendental for Disney Parks fans, acting as evidence of what a difference such simple asides can make in the spirit of casting the park as the e-ticket. For that reason, the encounter with the sleeping dragon has become a sort of must-see bucket list moment for Disney Park fans who make the trek to Paris for just such surprising differences between it and its stateside sisters. Tri-Crested Titterwheel Bird. Location, Westernland at Tokyo Disneyland. Camp Woodchuck area in Westernland at Tokyo Disneyland, opened November 22, 2016. Here, guests can experience an immersive setting inspired by the Junior Woodchucks organization created by Carl Barks. There's also the new Camp Woodchuck Kitchen, which sells camping-style treats including desserts inspired by classic s'mores and some tasty waffle sandwiches, and a new store called Happy Camper Supplies, which sells unique merchandise. In this area, guests can meet Donald Duck and Daisy Duck in the Woodchuck Greeting Trail, and they can be seen wearing their Camp Woodchuck outfits. But the coolest part of this experience is another character that you can meet while visiting the area. The Tri-Crested Titterwheel Bird is an awesome animatronic bird that can be found here. He sits there sleeping until he hears guests arriving. He wakes up and welcomes everybody. He is very colorful and cute and makes the wait time so much better. What other animatronics are we missing? Let us know in the comments. If you want to go check out these amazing animatronics, our friends at PixieVacations.com can help you plan your perfect vacation to Disneyland, Disney World, or a Disney cruise specifically tailored to your vacation style and budget. And working with a Pixie is completely free, so talk to them to make the best out of your Disney vacation. Thank you so much, Brian Krosnick from Theme Park Tourist.